Oh, cloud storage is full, it says. Oh, one-time temporary extension. Okay. Um, Great. Here we go. Ha 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 ha. Oh, fantastic. Hi, everybody. Connecting to audio. Connecting to audio. Everybody's connecting to audio. Feel free to turn on your cameras if you'd like, as long as you're decent, I guess. Hi, Laura. Yay. Ellen, Lauren Ellen. Yeah. It's already a party. It's all we need. I get to see both of you in person this week.
Yeah,
How cool is my life? It's
it's
awesome.
amazing.
Hello, everybody. Hi, Thomas. Hey, Ruth. How's it going? Hey.
Good.
Cool. Cool. We are going. Okay, here comes Isa. Awesome. Great. Hi, everybody. I'm gonna kind of let some more people filter in here as we go. Feel free to turn on your cameras if you'd like to. I love seeing your faces. It helps me, gives me some energy back rather than speaking into the void of the internet for an hour and a half. um, so first of all, as usual, Cheryl, hey, there's Cheryl's face. Isa, Thomas, yay, cool, cool. Lori's joining. Great. So first of all, as always, thank you so much to Flute World for hosting this. I think it's just so amazing to have this collective and have these free classes. Did any of you go to Stephen Clark's class and Matthew Allison's class earlier today? Yeah, thumbs up. Awesome. You're getting a Saturday full of flute, huh? Not too shabby. getting it in before April's over. That's awesome. So thanks so much, Flute World. This is an exciting class today because usually in these Etude of the Week classes, we discuss the specific etude that we're working on that week. This week, we're not working on a specific etude. It happens to be in that weird little in-between time, 20 weeks later, after we played through all the Garibaldi, that we have a free-for-all. So that's always really fun. I love the free-for-all time to kind of see what people are posting, what etudes people are interested in other than the ones that are assigned. If any of you are unsure about what I'm talking about, what etude of the week is, yeah, are you not sure? Okay, Cheryl's not sure. She's like, what are you talking about? Perfect. Well, then if there's at least one, then there may be others. So let me just talk briefly about what we're doing here, what etude of the week is, and then we'll go into the plan for the evening. So Cheryl and any others who are not involved, Etude of the Week is a group on Facebook. It's existed since 2015. And it's a group, now we're up to, I think, over 8,000 people from 170 countries or something, 850, I don't know, it's crazy. So many flutists from all over the world, all different levels of players, from beginners to advanced, adults, kids, everybody. We're all just there being flute nerds together. And we all vote on a book, although this time I vetoed the vote. So sorry, everyone, if you're mad at me. But we vote on a book to play together, and we play through the entire book. So we start with number one, play through the whole thing. We just finished the Garibaldi etudes. There were 20 of those. How many of you played those? Ellen, I saw you posted a lot. Laura, Thomas, awesome. Okay, Isa did some. I think I did 2 of them. So sorry, everyone. But, sometimes I need a break, so it's okay. We're about to start the Bohm Caprices. I am so excited about these ones. I know we voted on the Jean-Jean etudes, but I received a lot of, understandable concerns from people about not wanting to participate in those because they were just really difficult to approach. And even though in the group, I think it's really great to do things that are challenging and a little different, I think right now I wanted to do something that's a little bit more approachable. The Bohm etudes are still a challenge. They're not easy by any means, But yay, hi Lori. But they're a little bit more I don't know, they're prettier. I don't need to use like big words for this. They're a little bit easier to understand, I think, a little more diatonic. Don't be afraid, you see all the black notes on the page. So if you'd like to download the Bohm Caprices, they're available for free. If you you can join Etude of the Week, Cheryl or whoever else isn't a member. It's free. Just I'll see your name. I'll approve you. And you can download the Bohm Caprices there. We're going to start those on May 15th. You can also order them from Flute World. There's a code, which I can't remember off the top of my head, but it is also posted pinned at the top of the Etude of the Week group, and they're giving us a 15% off coupon code for those. So if you want to have the printed book, go for it. So we'll start the Bohm Caprices May 15th, but in the meantime, we're just doing whatever we want. So I have a few people who've signed up to play. I know Laura and Ellen have signed up. Let me see. Let me just check my list here. Also, I have Regina. Is Regina here? I don't see a Regina. Ruth, you've signed up to play. Cool, cool. I think that's it of the people that we have signed up. So the people that are here, Laura, Ellen, and Ruth, we have you signed up to play, so we'll get to that in a minute. If anyone else feels super inspired, like, hey, I have an etude here, I'd love to play. If we have time at the end, please feel free to feel like you can do that if you'd like to. For those of you who've not been to my classes before, the way I like to run these, it's very open. So sometimes the conversation starts one way and then we end up talking about something completely different, and that's totally okay. If anyone has any thoughts or questions or anything, well, as we're going through this, please don't hesitate to interrupt me or raise your hand or, you know, whatever it takes to get my attention to shut up. I will. So yeah, so I wanted to start this conversation today. Okay, no worries, Isa. That's exciting about your horse. Awesome. Very good. Send me pictures, please, by the way. I wanted to start today with just talking a little bit about etudes. Why do we play etudes? What's the point? What is your relationship like with etudes? What experience have you had with etudes in the past? And what are some of your favorites? So, how many of you can kind of, or who here wants to speak to a little bit of what's the purpose of practicing etudes? I could talk about it for this entire hour and a half, but I want to, yeah, Isa, go for it.
I think, and I'm still learning,
Good.
etudes are out there to help you practice a specific something, like a specific technical aspect of playing.
Totally. Yeah.
Versus like your repertoire is more kind of everything all together.
Yeah.
Etude will focus on usually, I think, one thing or maybe multiple things, but
Absolutely.
like one
Yeah.
might be legatos, one might be staccatos, one might be slurs.
Yep.
That's what I've learned. I'm still learning about.
Yeah, Isa, that's
Okay.
awesome. The thing that's important about what you said is it's focusing on one thing, right? In pieces that we play, there's so much going on at one time, and they're usually much longer. Not always, but a lot of the time. So yeah, it kind of bridges the gap between exercises like scales and tone studies and things and repertoire, right? Who else? Does anyone have any other comments about that? Yeah, go for it, Ruth.
Well, Drouet is very specific. He
Yeah.
has directions in 4
Yeah.
languages and
Yeah.
specific about what he wants you to do.
Yeah, totally. Are you playing Drouet today?
No, but I could.
Oh, you could. I love the Drouet. They're so good.
Yeah, I could play Drouet.
Yeah, well, you can play whatever you want. There's no
Okay.
no pressure. No pressure. Yeah, Isa.
Is that the how you pronounce the Drouet?
E-T. That's it. Yep.
I always thought it was Duret or something, and then
Drouet.
yeah, it's a Duret.
All these
It's
French
like,
names
Duret.
in our world. It's ridiculous,
Right?
right?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, it's interesting because etudes, I think, now we'll kind of move on to the next question I had, which is what is your personal experience with etudes? whether you studied flute in school or whether you're a little more self-taught or whatever it is. My experience is really interesting because I went to undergrad. I got my undergrad and my master's both in flute performance. And my teachers always said, "Oh, you have to play these etudes. Here is a list of all of the etude books that you should be practicing." But they never made me play them in my lessons. So guess how many of them I actually practiced in college? None of them. So I think it's funny because now in our flute community, my reputation is like Katy, the etude queen, kind of. I'm like, cool, well, I really didn't do them until more recently. But having kind of, lied about it and skipped through them in my college days, starting Etude of the Week was a wonderful motivation for me to explore them. And I am so glad I did. Like, no regrets at all, because so many of the books we've been through have helped my flute playing immensely. Whether I play them or not, even just hearing everybody else do it is incredible. So that's there's my experience. Who here has had a different, maybe not so positive experience with playing etudes in the past?
When I studied the Kary Gaylords, it was
Oh. Yep.
It's a trauma.
It's a trauma. Yeah. Yeah.
Those were wicked hard, and now I want to go back and relearn them.
Yeah, they're actually really beautiful.
Yeah,
but
when they're played well.
When they're played well. Yeah, that chaconne will kick your butt. Watch out. Has anyone else here played those Kary Gaylord etudes before? No? They're a doozy. We did them in Etude of the Week, I think in 2019, 2018. I don't know. If anyone is curious about the etudes that we've played, here, I'll type it in the chat. Kary Gaylord. No, if anybody's curious about what etudes we've played in the past, there's a website that I made, etudeoftheweek.com, and it's got a list of all the etudes we've played in what year. It's one thing that I did that's actually organized. Don't expect much more than that. Cool. So what else? What other kinds of experiences have you guys had with playing etudes in your past? Positive or negative or neutral? Ellen, yeah.
Well, I grew up thinking that they were like medicine, the thing you had to take before you could get to the good stuff.
Yeah.
And I think it's through Etude of the Week that I learned some of them, and a teacher that I had while we were doing some of the Piazzolla.
Yeah.
She was saying these are performance worthy.
Yeah.
Pieces. And so I played those in a couple recitals, and I love thinking of some of them, thinking, yeah, this would actually be a lovely little gem or an interlude to stick in a. So if you think of them that way as little performances, that makes it a little less medicine-y and a little more fun.
Not so much cough syrup. It's actually
right. The Piazzolo just changed my life. Those were wonderful.
They're so wonderful. Yeah, I agree. I think a lot of them can make really beautiful encore pieces. The Donjon ones are so gorgeous. Paganini, if you want to take a lifetime to learn one, then great. I've worked on Paganini number 4 for about 6 years now. And now I finally played it in a concert like this year because I've worked on it for 6 years. But in pieces, it's not like I practiced it every single day for that long. But, I can't believe those are actually considered etudes. I think that's false advertising. Fake news. Cool. So does anyone else have any favorites? What are some of your favorite etudes? Yeah, Isa.
I like the Kohler. I think it's romantic.
Yeah, they're so good.
And stuff. And I'd never heard of etudes until your Etude of the Week, because I've never had a flute teacher, so
yeah.
Yeah, I'm so thankful for your
now you have 8,000 teachers. Now there's a group full of things to learn, you know.
I like the altas.
Altes, yeah. When did we do the Altes? Okay, now I'm gonna have to look at this website because let's see. Let's see. Okay, yeah. So, are you ready? I'm gonna read the list of this is kind of amazing. It's kind of prolific now at this point. We have done Anderson, Opus 15 was the first. We did in August of 2015. Carr Gaylert was 2016. There you go. Altes 2017, Berbigay 2017, Kohler Romantic Etudes 2018, Paganini Caprices along with the Moist Studies 2018. I did that because Marina Piccinini promised me that she would do a video every week, and then that didn't happen. Bohm Caprices we did in January of 2019, so we're revisiting those. Piazzolla, July 2019. Anderson, Opus 33, 2019. Rockberg Caprices, which was so fun. Christina Jennings, my teacher here, arranged those. They're so cool. Kohler Opus 89, 2020. Drouet, 2021. Kohler Opus 89 Part 2, March 2021. We did some jazz studies, Unlock Intermediate Jazz Studies by my friend Sarpai in 2021, First to Now 2021. Oh, wow, we did a lot in 2021. Those must have been shorter or something. Catherine Hoover Etudes. Oh, I think we were doing 2 books at a time a lot in 2021. That's probably why. And then Garibaldi, Beatboxing and Beyond, and Taffanel and Gobert. What? I must have gotten those backwards because we just finished Garibaldi, so the but anyway, those are all of them that we've done. Isn't that amazing? It's kind of cool because if you think about 24 weeks worth, you know, of of etudes, it's a long time. So it's like 6 months. So here we go into a boom, it's 24 caprices, yep. So we have another 6 months of stuff coming up. So that being said, let's do some playing, huh? How's that sound? If anybody has any thoughts or you have a spark of some favorite etudes or you want to talk about, you know, any other aspects of playing etudes that comes up in your brain, feel free. Always just say so. Who wants to go first? Ellen, Laura, Ruth? Laura's ready.
I can go. I hate waiting.
Yeah, fair. Get it out of the way. So what are you going to play for us, Laura?
I was going to play the Gallet number 4 in F.
Perfection. Okay, so let me just give a brief little overview for those who might not know about what the Gallet situation is, what they are. So Paul Edmund Davies, very well-known flute player over in the UK, he arranged some French horn etudes for the flute. They are available for free, I think, for a little while longer. If you go to simplyflute.com, you can download these etudes, and he wrote all these exercises for them. There's practice videos, there's performance videos. It's really amazing what he put together for our group. It's a pretty cool thing. So each of these exercises is based on one of the 4 pillars of flute playing that he talks about. We have breathing and phrasing, articulation, intervals, and then what's number 4, Laura?
Intervals and articulation.
Okay, combination. Cool. Great. Do you have anything you want to say about it before you play, or do you want to just go for it first?
To be transparent, my daughter is a horn player, and I remember her playing these.
No way! Oh, that's cool. That's awesome.
So I thought it was pretty fun.
That's so cool. I'm gonna go ahead and I might as well just share this. Let me just pull it up really quick so that everyone can see. Somebody just came over to our house. I can hear my dog running around upstairs. Okay, share screen. Hi, Sean. All right, can everyone see this? Yes? No? Yeah? Okay, cool. Thanks. Oh, sorry, Ellen. I missed your thumbs up. You were giving me the signal. All right, awesome. Is your original sound turned on and everything there, Laura?
Now it is.
Yeah, cool. I always need the reminder, so it's it's good. Okay, go for it.
Let me do that part again. Oops.
Yeah, yeah, nice. I love that octave at the end. That's awesome.
Well, if you could rewrite it for flute, I could do that.
Yes, you gotta add something fluty in there, right? Come on, that's awesome. Great. How did that feel for you, Laura?
Um, Not as prepared as I would have liked, but
I'm
and the
proud of you,
accident.
actually, for that.
What?
I'm proud of you for that, to be honest.
Yeah, that's scary for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the accidentals. There's a
Yes.
couple of C sharps in there that get me because it doesn't make sense to me to have C sharp in an F major.
Yes, that makes sense. That is, and I think we had a session, Laura. We had and Isa and I had a For the Love of Flute session earlier today, and we were talking about how I think it might have been this one I was playing through, and I was like, oh yeah, and accidentals carry through the bar. Whoops. Um, no shame in writing those in as you play them either, you know.
Some of them are written in.
Yeah. Yep, our brains think if I'm working on an etude or a piece, if I miss an accidental once in my practice, I write it in. I don't have any patience for giving myself any shame about uh making sure that I don't write accidentals in. I don't think it doesn't say anything about your intelligence if you have to write an accident.
It just says something about my hard drive.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Our hard drives are full. There's lots of other stuff to think about, right? Good. So what are some of the things that you were really trying to focus on as you were playing this?
I wanted to make a difference between when it's a slurred interval and a tongued interval.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
I wanted to bring that out. And there was a few spots where there were nice, big, juicy notes that I wanted to bring out more like a horn player.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Great. Um, so I think that your articulation was very clear. Does anybody have anything that they noticed about this that you want to say? I want to make sure to leave space for you guys if you have anything that you want to mention.
And I should say trills always take extra work for me.
Oh, yes, they do.
And they were horn trills. Horns trill differently than flute players.
They
And I
do.
think you
and
got that.
Yeah, and pianists do also. So it's like, all right.
Is this the one that he had? No, okay. There was one of these studies that he actually had a trill exercise that he wrote for it. It wasn't this one though. It was one of the other ones. Um, Great, Laura. So yeah, I think these kind of juicy notes, these intervals, and differentiating between the articulated intervals and the slurred ones, right?
Yeah.
It's interesting because though we should be using our air in the same way for both, we tend not to. The tongue can be a little bit of a crutch when it comes to actually using, your airstream for the support. When you're slurring, though, you have to use your air for it. So, it's an interesting thing. Can we go again? And I'd love to just kind of really feel the difference between these things. Where were some of the notes that you're talking about? Some of those like big juicy notes that you're trying to give some attention to. Let me share this again.
Starting at around measure 22.
Uh-huh. Okay, yeah.
Ending at 31.
Cool. 30, 31. Yeah, all this forte stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
It's the
Cool.
chase scene in the opera.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I love that. Why don't we go from around there?
Okay.
Uh, Maybe like measure 17, 18. Why don't you start from like 19?
Okay. 20.
Da, 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 da.
All right.
Yep. Yeah.
After the trills. Okay,
Yeah,
great.
after the trills, I'll let you off the hook. Good, Laura. Cool. Okay, let's pause there for a second. This is awesome. I love that you said it's the chase scene. It gave so much character, even just the way that I listened to you play it changed a little bit, right? Because you're picturing now something's happening here with different characters and an interaction is happening, right?
Mhm.
This is so valuable, I think, in whether you're playing an etude or a piece, either way, to have a little bit of a narrative in your mind about what's actually going on. We're all actors here, trying
Does
to.
anybody else make up stories about the pieces that they play in order to play them? That's how I do
Alex
it.
nodding, Ruth's nodding. Yeah, yeah. Thomas, yep. Yeah. It's awesome. It's so great to do that. Write a little script.
Yeah.
It's amazing what happens with dynamic contrast when all of a sudden you've got characters in mind, right?
Mhm.
So I think that when you started, the dynamic contrast here, like there's this little call and response. Oh, my flute is so cold. It's kind of like, I don't know who's talking to who, but it feels like a call and response to me there a little bit.
Mhm.
So exaggerating things like that. Then we crescendo into now all of a sudden we're trying to like sneak up on the whoever it is we're chasing, like oh, my hair is stuck in my flute. That's fun. Okay. So can we do that and just have like so much fun with playing with the character of that? It's really, yeah.
Same spot?
Yeah, same spots, perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now there's something like we're waiting for something. It adds this energy. Pianissimos, I think, actually add so much more energy than fortes do in a lot of ways. Because people have to like be like, what? What are you doing here? You know? It's like when someone yells at you versus the quiet disappointment, you know, it's like which one's more powerful? Um, so Ellen
Ouch.
yeah, right. Ellen just mentioned something interesting that I think is important to point out, right? There are so many markings here. And in so many different etudes and different editions of different etudes, some you will see no markings at all. Some you'll see a few. Some have different editions that have very different markings depending on who edited it. So, you know, when you have so many things that are marked so specifically, it can be really challenging because there's so much to focus on, right? So I do think take dynamic markings and breath marks with a little bit of a grain of salt sometimes, you know? Um, like here, I think it's so expressive with the character, the way that the dynamics are marked. But if there's an etude that has no dynamics marked in it at all, you're kind of allowed to make your own decisions, what makes sense musically to you. But also, if you see a ton of markings, articulations and dynamics and blah, 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 whatever, I think it's really important as long as you have an intention when you're practicing, right? Then it really helps. Instead of, it's like, you know, drinking from a fire hose. Laura, you made that analogy once. Drinking from a fire hose in the sense of there's so much going on that you lose focus of everything then, right? So isolating, like this time I'm going to go through and be very intentional about the dynamics. Follow along what's written, see what makes sense. Maybe some of them don't make sense to you, and you're welcome to change them, but do it on purpose, right? Not on accident. This is in this one with dynamics for sure, because look at all this. Every single measure has so many dynamic things, you know. But absolutely every time, no matter what, every etude you play, this should be the case with planning your breaths. I say this because I am the worst at it so often. But I think it's one of the most important things we can do to really learn an etude is to plan where you're going to take your breaths and be very, very diligent about actually taking the breaths where you plan them. You can change it, right? There are times, especially as you're learning an etude slowly, right? The faster you get, the less breaths you're going to need.
Mm-hmm.
But still, it's still so good for our brains to plan them out anyway and not just like, oh, I'm just going to take a breath wherever I need it and we'll see what happens. You know?
I know there was one breath that I didn't agree with, so
I
I did
liked
it.
that. I noticed that it was this one here.
Yeah.
So it was the you took it after
Yeah.
the E, which I agree with yours even more.
Well, because that's how it is in measure 24.
Yep. Yeah. It could have been he could have actually written that incorrectly because I think you're right. Absolutely. Yeah. So wonderful, Laura. Another thing I want to point out here, your rhythm was fantastic, but this is just something I think that's important to note. Anytime you have these dotted eighth, 16th note rhythms, it is so important to make sure you're subdividing, right? So ba 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 da 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 da, right? Like have those 16th notes in your head. Oftentimes we'll make the 16th note a little too short or a little too long. It almost sounds like triplets sometimes for people. So just be aware of that, right? Sometimes I'll do when I'm practicing anything that says dotted eighth 16th note rhythm, like just tongue it like everything is a 16th note. And it really helps to make sure that you're accurate with that dotted eighth note 16th. Dotted eighth 16th note rhythm. Whatever they would say in the UK, if anyone here's in the UK and you know what the other names are for those things, um, cool. Great. Any questions? This is a great one.
I think these are good to just as touch points to come back to.
Yeah.
And every once in a while just go through them and it's like checking your pulse.
Yeah, totally. Yep. Agreed. The other thing I wanted to mention here really quick that I just noticed as you were starting in that particular place, um, starting on a middle E is a challenge because it always cracks. Um, so it's really good. I've been doing these exercises like on a daily basis right now. If you take an exercise like Taffanel and Gobert number 4, or really any scale exercise, and articulate only with your air. It's a ha breath instead of a ta with your tongue. And it really helps you to make sure that you know where your embouchure is supposed to be placed, especially with the tricky like E's and stuff. So the exercise goes like this, but then I'll show you on the E's. So let's say we're doing T and G number 4. You can go ha, ha, ha. And I'm trying to really make sure my throat is nice and open and that I'm not moving my embouchure too much. It's actually funny even watching myself in the camera like, oh, I'm spilling tea. Oh, I can't lean over and do that. And you'll know very quickly which notes you're not quite set for. So then when you get into the middle register like these E's, it's a good exercise to make sure you know where your embouchure needs to be. So that way when you start with the tongue, it's not cracking all over the place. Middle E's are the worst for that. So it
Or
takes
you could switch to a C foot.
Yeah, right, exactly. There you go. Just get a different flute. It's fine. We all have the budget for that, right? It's all good. Cool. Thank you so much, Laura. I love it. I love that you played this one. That's
Thank
great.
you.
Ruth, do you want to go next since you're next up on my screen?
Sure, I will do Drouet number 10.
Woo! Okay, let me see if I can pull this up here.
So the directions say in French, German, Spanish, and English, for the suppleness of the lips, produce the higher notes, especially the octave notes, by compressing the lips and not by forcing the emission.
Okay, what does that mean to you?
Don't force it, just relax, I guess. But he couldn't have had a flute like this. I mean, back in that time, it wasn't. I'm guessing he had fewer keys than we have.
This is the one you're doing, right, Ruth?
That's the one.
Okay. Yeah, I think there is something to be said though about, especially when you have so many arpeggiated things and big leaps and intervals, to not be forcing things so much, right? But rather to support and really make sure that you've got a consistent airstream flowing. It helps a lot. And then you're not like moving your lips all over like a bunny rabbit.
We'll see. I usually play these on piccolo, but I'll try it on flute today.
I know. I was going to say, I'm used to hearing you do piccolo, girl. It's going to be crazy.
I'm going to give your ears a break today.
Oh, you're so thoughtful.
Wait a minute. I think this headset's getting in the way. Let me move it.
Yeah, that makes sense. go. Nice. Very, very cool. Great. How did that feel for you?
Different than on the piccolo.
Yeah.
I think this is maybe the. So yeah, I felt like I had to breathe a lot, where I don't have to do that on the piccolo as much.
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought I was breathing in some funny places, but
yeah. Well, that's fair. Yeah, I think breath planning is totally a thing. I did want to mention something about planning breaths, actually, that I think is really wonderful advice. At the Adams Festival this weekend, I went to one of Marina Piccinini's classes, and she mentioned that in general, of course, there are exceptions to every rule, but it's best to try to avoid breathing right before a high note, right before the peak of an ascension in notes, right? So for example, there was one like where is a good example of this? Let's say we're here in like this area, right? Right? You want to avoid breathing before you get to the top, especially if it's arpeggiated.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a good general rule for planning. Even here. Like I would avoid breathing right before the highest note in a section, right? Again, not always, but it's kind of a nice general rule. Yeah, it makes sense that breathing would be more of a challenge for you, Ruth, on flute versus piccolo, right? Awesome. Who else? Does anyone have anything they noticed about this etude, or any thoughts? Interrupt me if you do have them. Okay. This one is so cool. I love this etude. I think it's I'm so glad you chose it, Ruth. And there's a little bit of where the forcing happens that I think he's talking about, this suppleness of the lips, right? Is in these sections. So that we avoid going, right? Trying to make that whole line really smooth. So can we try something just to see how it feels? I'd love to leave the top notes out. So we can do it from measure 2 or measure 4 or whatever you want to do. But let's just do this. You know, like that bottom line. I think you're muted, Ruth. Can you unmute yourself there? There you go. Cool. Cool. Yep. And then can you skip the arpeggio and do the same thing in measure 4? The D sharps. Yeah.
Which note did you want me to leave out? Oh, in measure 4.
Yep. You got it. Nice. Yeah. So when you start here, and really start with a good, like, full, low foundational note, because it's outlining the chord. This is the harmony of the whole thing, right? So when you start, really get that D sharp. Then everything just kind of flows. If you stay in the same sort of internal position for that really good high quality low note. High quality low note? That seems a little bit like a weird thing to say. Can you try that again? Good. Just play your low D sharp for me, Ruth. Just hold it. Nice. Can you make a little more space inside of your mouth when you play it? See what happens? Yeah. There you go. Yes, just a little is amazing. Huge difference. Awesome. One more time. Just hold that D sharp with a lot of space inside of there. Okay. Now you got some stuff. That was awesome. Then when you have that foundational low note, the high notes can just kind of pop out without you having to, right? Everything can stay really smooth. So now can you try this measure? We're still going to leave the high notes out, but keep it all connected. So we're just going to go. Right? So everything is like one thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Try it. Awesome. Yeah, great. Now try it adding those high notes and try really hard not to move your air faster to get those high notes out. See if you can just kind of let them come out a little more naturally. Good, Ruth. Yeah, totally. Already better. That's awesome. Then another thing you can practice is now we could isolate these intervals. Right? That octave is kind of the hardest. The B
Yeah.
to B, right? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I could tell I was overplaying it when we did that part.
Yeah, yeah. This is the point, right? Which is what we were talking about in the beginning of the class. What's the point of this etude? This suppleness of the lips, like, okay, cool, whatever. But it is, those intervals are really challenging to be able to change the direction of your air without forcing your air to get the note out. Excuse me, I just drank way too much tea at a time. Yeah, so beautiful. And then I thought your arpeggios were fantastic. They sounded really nice, like really even and just like super clear. It's a really fun one.
Yeah.
What else did I had to say? Don't breathe before the high notes. Practice those low notes. Yeah, I think the more you can do that. Then everything just kind of with one stream of air. Awesome work though, Ruth. That's so good. Do you have any questions or any thoughts or any challenges in particular?
No, this was great. So anyway, I have a bootleg shot edition somebody gave me.
Yeah.
And they need to follow your advice. So I have to take out some of those breath marks.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And honestly, take what I say, take it or leave it. Like that's my my thought there. It's just honestly, if you're playing through it, is your breath interrupting a line? Something that I learned in Kirsten McCall's masterclass this weekend was he teaches so much based on, he's the principal of the Concertgebouw in the Netherlands. Amazing, amazing player. Just released a box CD. Check it out on it's beautiful. But the way he plays is very much based on like speaking and words. If you were to start speaking to someone and you were to say, "Hi, your name is, hi, I'm," right? And stopping and taking breaths or pauses in places that don't make sense, it ruins the communication, right? So it's the same in all of this music. If you can think of the phrases as there's a sentence and there is space for breath. This also applies on the other end. Don't take breaths where they don't belong, but also take more breaths if they do belong, even if you don't need them.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Sometimes there are spots where it just makes sense to leave a pause, whether you need the breath or not. So take more breaths is also something that I hear a lot of these people say, and that's good. That's nice advice to get, right?
Yeah.
So wonderful. This makes me want to play these again. I'm gonna maybe.
What edition is this? Is this the IMSLP?
Yeah, yeah. I think your edition's better because it actually has the instruction on them. Does your edition have these where it breaks this up here, Ruth? You know what I mean?
It does. It does. It has one there.
All right. I wasn't sure if that was okay. I wasn't sure if that was just a thing to leave space for breath or if it's actually printed that way in the other version. So cool. Arpeggios. Yay. Who likes practicing arpeggios? Taffanel and Gobert, number 10, 12. There's also, speaking of lip suppleness, hold on. Let me find my moist pile here. Look at all these moist books, guys.
Oh God.
So there is a book that we used to play every day in the Galway Festival when I went to that back in the days. That is in this Grand Liaisons. So I don't know if you guys can see this.
Mhm.
Is it backwards? It's fine, but the Grand Liaisons book, and the first exercise in this book is so good for
Yikes.
yeah. And Galway used to teach it. So let me see if I can pull this up, because this would be a really good exercise to talk about in regards to this etude in particular. Liaison. Do I have it on my computer? No, but I can just hold on. Technology is amazing. Okay. I'm gonna just take a picture of this and I'm gonna airdrop it to my computer so you can all see this, and I'll show you the exercise because it's really cool. Rotate. Here, I thought I was gonna do it all fast, and now it's taking me 8 years. Hold on. All right. Beep, 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 beep. Great. So here is this. I don't know. And one of the points of this is to really understand what kind of flexibility you need in the lips. To be practiced with a full tone aiming at evenness in the 3 registers. So you got to give a little more to the low, a little less to the high to try to balance everything out, right? My flute is leaking everywhere. I could use some work on this exercise, but you can't do it if you're too tight, you know, or if your air's not doing right. Like, it is a really very telling exercise, but it's a good one for this flexibility.
I do
Check
that
it out,
Put
one.
the name of the book in the chat.
Yep, totally. Go ahead, Laura. What?
I do that one with harmonics, so that
Cool.
my
Yeah,
embouchure,
yeah.
so that first measure, you don't have to take it off the low C. The second measure, you start on the low C and then you move your pinky to the D flat.
Cool.
And then you finger the E and then the D flat. So there's minimal movement with the right hand pinky, and it gets your embouchure to really work hard.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I love it. It's great. So check it out, guys. It's a really cool, good little moist, lesser known moist book. Awesome. Thank you so much, Ruth.
Thank you.
Let's move on to Ellen. Yay! Ellen and I get to play together this week, you guys. Don't be jealous. So do Laura and I. So we're all just winning.
And I get to hear you too.
Yay! Ellen's coming to Colorado. It's gonna be awesome. If any of you are ever in Colorado, you got to let me know. So cool. What are you gonna play, Ellen?
Well, I can give you a choice. I could do Garibaldi 19. But I've been working on, in the interlude, I've been working on the Castoret 12 etudes.
Oh, yeah,
those are always a runner-up when we vote.
Yeah,
So,
they are. It's interesting. I would love to hear the Castoret actually, because I don't know it well. I don't know if I have it. let me just see if I've got castrate etudes, just so I can hold on one second. Castrate. I know I downloaded most of these just to. All right, it's fine. Don't worry about it. Just go ahead and play it, and I'll kind of
Okay.
look for it
Well,
while you're
just
playing.
start with number 1.
Great. Perfect.
And let's see, let me see this. Does the sound okay?
Yeah, it's great.
Good. Okay.
Yeah, beautiful. Awesome! That's really
Those are so fun. They're just
Oh my gosh, I've never even listened to those, I don't think. Didn't Cobus Dutois do an
I
album?
was going to say he's the king of Castored.
Okay.
His recordings
This-
are just gorgeous.
You know what? Hey Siri, remind me to email Cobus about doing Castrate Etudes and Etude of the Week.
Yeah, Troy was going to try and work on him too. To
Okay.
work him
Because
over.
yeah, I've known him for like 20 years, so we need to just do this thing because that would be really cool.
Most of them are short. The last one's really kind of a free
Yeah.
for all, but
I
most
think
of
that
them are
might be a fun. Are they public domain? I don't think so.
I don't think
I think
so.
that's why, yeah, I think that's why they've kind of been runner-ups because, you know,
Yeah.
that whole thing. However, I think that might be a really fun side-by-side thing to do sometime. Do you know how many are there, Ellen?
There's 12.
Okay, cool. So
And they
maybe
really cover the gamut. There ones that are for articulation and ones that are for tone and suppleness of the lips and
yeah, cool.
so.
That's awesome. It's just making me think I think that should totally happen. And to have him come and do those with us would be really, really fun.
That would be awesome.
Okay, well, enough about Cobus and that. We're going to talk about you now. So, um, your rhythm is spectacular. Like, I did not have the etude in front of me. I have never heard it before, and I knew exactly what was going on. Like, so cool. I'm like dancing over here, It's awesome. How did you feel about it, Ellen?
Well, this is I'm still getting used to my new head joint, so it's got some,
Oh, yay!
weird,
What did you get? What did you get?
I got a used Weissman rose gold.
Oh, beautiful. That's so beautiful.
Which is really has its
Nice.
own, I mean, it's like, getting
Yeah.
used to a new pair of tennis shoes or something.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
It's got
Yeah, you're
its
gonna
own
get some
little personality. So this was a good one to try and figure out because it's got leaps and
Yeah.
dynamics in the low register and fortes in the low register and pianos in the high register, and so this was kind of a good
Yeah.
one to give it a workout. But that's what really where the challenge really is making the dynamics
Oh, Yvonne
vivid
just
enough.
sent a. Let's see. Oh, cool. Thanks, Yvonne. Nice. She sent a link to them. Oh, nice.
Oh,
Okay,
wow.
cool.
Katie, I just sent you a PDF on your email.
Oh, wow. You guys are awesome. Everybody's on it. This is fantastic. Wow. Great. Well, there they are. Nice. Yeah. If those are available there, that's great. That's good for future things. So, yeah, now that I can open this. Thank you, everyone. Hold on. Please hold.
So I can tell a fun fact about Castoret
Yeah,
too while you're doing
please
that.
do. Yeah.
He was at the Paris Conservatory and one of these uber talented guys. He won the Rome Prize in 1953, but he got married while he was waiting to hear the results. And the prize stipulated that you had to be single in order to go take your Rome Prize.
What?
And so he challenged the rule and got them to change the rule and got to stay married and both.
Wow.
So there's your little fun fact
That's
about
a dumb rule. Good for him. Yeah, good. I like that to challenge that rule. That seems really silly, doesn't it? Oh, awesome. Okay, so here we are. Now we can see. Um, oh yeah, great. So here's an example of dynamic markings that are a little bit less intense and in your face. But look at all these time changes. 8:16, 6:16. So how did you go about practicing this, Ellen? Did you have any sort of
Um, well, I figured out you really can't do it with a metronome.
No, right.
So I just kind of figured out what my target was and worked on it and tried to figure out what I wanted to emphasize, where is the weight in each figure,
Wow.
and where's the what I want to emphasize and what do I not want to emphasize and what do I not want to I wanted to not fall into a 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3,
Yeah,
4, because you need the suspense of the rest at the right length. And so
totally. Yeah, I think
Thomas did that beautifully.
yeah, oh, I'm gonna listen to it actually now after this. This is really cool. But I think, we have different types of tension. And I think we take rhythmic tension for granted a lot of the time. Rhythmic tension happens in rests, right? So many of us tend to rush through rests so often because we're so anxious to just get on with it. um, but I thought you did it absolutely beautifully. And I love that you talked about the emphasis of what needs to happen here. I feel like you need to play with like a clave player or a castanet player or something, right?
Yeah.
Because there's this right? It's like Brazilian almost, it sounds like to
Yeah.
me. It makes sense that the Piazzolla changed your life, right? Because it's a very similar
Right.
idea to those Piazzolla etudes also. But it's hard, especially when you're in the middle register. You have to kind of accentuate stuff and still try to maintain your tone, right? Can you do it again from the beginning, Ellen, just so that now that I can see what's happening after I just, got to actually just enjoy listening to you the first time, which I love.
And there's those pesky E's too. So.
Those peskies! I know. Okay, I'm gonna pause you actually. Oh, she's cool. Pause. Awesome. Oh, it's so cool. It's so cool. I wanted to just point out this is really interesting to me because I didn't notice it right away. This first is so, even though it's sort of a similar grouping, this slur, the repetition of that note on the second beat and then how it's backwards here makes such a huge difference in how that rhythm comes across. Because you're kind of going to this middle note here, to the F sharp, right? So it's like it's so groovy.
It is.
I love it. And then these this which bar was it that kind of surprised me rhythmically here? These 9/16 bars in here. This one especially was just like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Wait, what's going on here? It's awesome. And this little sequence, the
Isn't that fun?
oh, it's so cool. And then the way you did this little slurry here was awesome. You know, just so much energy. I'm like really excited after you play that. It's great.
This is my sales pitch for the.
Well, it was a successful sales pitch, Ellen.
Okay.
You nailed it. I thought your articulation was fantastic. There's so much character the way that you played that. You know, really cool.
But it's a workout to try and get the registers placed, the tone placed in the
Yes,
registers.
yes.
Some of those didn't happen.
I would argue with you and say that they did. I mean, I think that a lot of that can be exaggerated, of course, right? And some of it has to do with the sort of mind game we play with being afraid that something's going to crack or not come out. To me, the solution for that is always what's happening with the resonance inside of the cavity of your mouth and your throat. Right? What vowel sound are you making for the E, middle E?
Yeah.
Right? For me, it's always very much like an oo sound. An oo, it's sort of more narrow almost too, because it kind of comes up and down. Pau talks a lot about the wasabi point if you like sushi. Where if you can feel that point in your nose and kind of picture the air coming woo, up and down like that. I find that the E for most notes I play with a very all as much space inside of my mouth as I can have. But for the E, it doesn't always work. Oh, there it did. But it has to be, if the inside of the mouth is too narrow this way, the E won't work. It has to be kind of more elongated vertically. It'll come out. You want to just try to mess with a couple middle E's there. I mean, it's fantastic anyway. So yeah.
It's also this I've learned. I'm used to kind of blowing down a little bit to keep the E from cracking, but this head joint doesn't like that. And so
that's great. It gives you a little more freedom then.
I have to blow up a little bit. So
okay, yeah. But with this sort of space this way, you can just blow. Then you don't have to change the direction so much. And you can accent those E's when you need to without having to be like you can really punch them actually.
yeah.
Awesome. I didn't notice anything cracking with you, but I'm wondering if your response of like I didn't really do that, maybe it's from you're holding back a little more than you actually have to. And it might also have to do with the trust that you're building with this new head joint.
Yeah.
Takes time to build trust in any relationship, including with our instruments, you know? So, oh, Thomas left. Bye, Thomas. Thank you so much, Ellen. That's awesome.
Sure, thank you.
Fun thing. Yeah, now I'm gonna do some work, do some finagling in the background, see if I can. If Cobus won't lead them, then we'll make you lead them, Ellen.
No.
Great. Does anyone have any final thoughts or questions? You know, what's your what are you having for dinner tonight? Like what? I don't know. No?
No, Ellen, that head joint is sounding great.
Yeah.
You're getting on that.
Thank you. Well, you were an inspiration for new hardware.
Hey,
Your tenacity and your
that's dangerous, Sean.
right.
Expensive.
I know.
Yeah, it's an expensive hobby.
An expensive influence you have on people. That's good though. I love it. Very nice. Yeah, it does sound beautiful, and I'm really excited to play with you on. Are we meeting on Monday?
I am Tuesday.
Tuesday. Okay.
The 9th.
Oh yeah. So a week. Okay. I don't know what week it is or month it is.
You're jet lagged.
If I didn't have it, yeah, we'll blame it on that. I'll just be jet lagged now for the rest of the year. We can. I'll just blame it forever. It's fine.
Tell us something about atoms. Tell us some of the Etude of the week. Etude of the week in Europe and
yeah, totally. So, for those who don't know, I was in this festival in the Netherlands this last week. I just got back on Tuesday. It was so great. It's a 3-day festival, and it's one of the biggest in Europe, I think. You know, I'd say it's comparable to NFA, but nothing is comparable to NFA. NFA is insanity.
NFA is sneaking up on us. Better start planning get together.
Yeah, there is going to be an Etude of the Week live event there during the day. But I'd really like to plan like a after hours where we can like, you know, drink alcohol and hang out. But there will be an Etude of the Week event. If any of you want to play, let me know because we'll have that open as well. So yeah, Adams, it was so great because it was Paul Edmund Davies and I did a Etude of the Week Simply Flute class together. For those of you who tried to watch the live stream, everything was recorded, like professionally recorded. And we will be posting the replay of it with the audio that you can actually hear. The tech guy is just editing it together. So as soon as that's edited, you'll be able to actually hear the class. That was so sad. I was standing up on stage as we were giving the class, watching the comments go by, like, we can't hear. And I was just like, oh no, I don't know what to do. But, you know, sometimes I feel like when you try to make things too complicated, it's, you know, I'm like, I should have just had my phone up on the stand and done it live from that. It would have been better, but whatever. But it was such a joy to work with Paul. It's really the first collaboration we've done together. And he and I have really similar ideals about what it means to be a teacher and a flute player and how we all just need to take this a little bit less seriously and you can actually have fun. Imagine. Like practice because you love it. And it was just absolutely so joyful to work with him. Oh, Lena, I'm so glad you could hear our duet at least. Good. So yeah, I think it'll be the first of many collaborations together, which will be really, really, really nice. But other than that, it was amazing because I'm used to going to these conventions, either working for the Galways or working for Marina Piccinini or working for Flutistry and having a lot of other responsibilities. And this time I went and just taught that class and then I got to sit in on all the master classes, which was so wonderful. They had the guest artists were Marina Piccinini, Sylvia Caredu, who plays in, I think she's in the Paris National Orchestra now, I might be wrong, but she's absolutely amazing. Kirsten McCall, Dennis Boryakov, Nicola Mazzanti, Niall O'Riordan, who's one of my best friends, and I got to stay with him. I had a tourist day in London. I actually took a day to be a tourist. It was awesome. I'd never been to London before, so yeah, like sharing a brain. It felt that way, Ellen. So we played through it together just once before before the thing. And it just, there's something about when you understand a person and, you know, it's a lot easier to just musically connect. And like we both kind of knew where each other was going without even really having to. And the piece we played was a little bit, there's a lot of rubato and a lot of like, it wasn't very rhythmically like centered. So a lot of room for things to go wrong, but also a lot of room for things to go right. So I'm glad it was the other way. Yeah, if you guys haven't seen his website, Simply Flute, it's so great. It really is. It's like, it's amazing that he does so much amazing stuff. It's very well produced too. He's a professional. I need to get some tips from him on how to build a better website.
His 28-day warm-up book is wicked. It's
Yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah. But I just think it's amazing to have these festivals where so many people who really have different ideas come together and are able to, share them with each other. Plus, everyone's really nice and fun to hang out with, so it's a win-win. You guys should come to that one sometime. If you're looking for an excuse to come to Europe sometime, I am going to be at the Eva Kingma hosts a festival. Eva Kingma is a low flute maker, and she is one of the most incredible humans, like just amazing. She hosts a festival in Grollo, Gro. I'll type it because in the Netherlands in late August. So it is one of the best festivals I've ever been to. It's Ian Clark, Matthias Ziegler, and Wissam Butsani, who are the instructors there. But the way it's run is just so, so cool. So if it's something that you're like curious about, just send me a message and let me know because I'll be going. We can travel over there together. But there you go. Adventures galore. I love it. How many of you are going to be at NFA? Laura, Sean. Cool.
Where's it going to be?
It's in Phoenix.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Right?
No.
Phoenix.
In
Could have already
August.
both been definitely going. So.
Oh God. I was a little mad at myself for putting in a proposal to do a thing that got approved because now I have to go. Otherwise I'd be like, maybe I'll skip this year, but no, it'll be great to see everybody. And we'll be in the hotel.
Phoenix is okay. It's just hot. That's all.
Yeah. Lena, you should come to the yeah, Phoenix is nice, just not in August, Cheryl. Lena, I'm gonna post a link to this this European Flute Festival that I'll be at in August, because maybe you can come to this with me. It'd be really cool. If I can get this link to work. Here we go.
The plus side is it's much easier to get to for me.
Yeah, that's true.
We're into Phoenix. The plane's here long enough to have a drink.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah, for me too. I think it's very short. It's a very short flight, so that's nice, but it's ridiculous. Oh man, we'll see. Yeah, you're right. Oh, sorry, Cheryl. We're over here insulting Arizona, and you're like, this is where I live. Here's the problem. I just really like cold weather, so that's the only reason. I'm just a crazy person, and I'm always too hot, so it's fine.
I lived in Phoenix when I was young. I'm familiar with Sunset.
Yeah.
And Scottsdale. I was just a little kid singing in the Phoenix Boys Choir. La la la.
Oh, Sean. La la la. That's awesome. Oh, I also wanted to say, I had an idea this morning that I think I'm gonna do, but I'm gonna maybe do some weekly sessions. Remember back in the old days when I did those study buddy sessions sometimes? I think I'm gonna do them for the Bohm book. So if any of you are curious about Bohm and wanna work on them together. I'm going to work out a schedule for doing those weekly classes on each of those soon. I have to make a commitment to myself to actually do them, and if I do that, then maybe I will. No, I love the poem, so it'll be fun. Cool, everybody. Well, thanks for coming. Have a wonderful evening. Thanks so much for playing, Ruth, Laura, Ellen, and I will see you all very soon.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks so
Bye-bye.
much. Talk to you later.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.